So the S&P just closed at 55.72, which is another record high for the index. And we had an analyst on Bloomberg today predicting 57.55 in the near to medium term from a technical perspective, which isn't crazy higher from where we closed today, but it is openly promoting a good deal more upside. So is this something you also see on the chart?
Yeah, I think that that's reasonable. Our upside objective is a little bit more conservative, I would say. What we're looking at right now, and what we've been looking at, is a market that traded up to a record high in April before correcting about 7%. That move from the high in April down to the April low was about a 355-point move. And so once we traded back up to a fresh record high in May, beyond that April high, it opened a measured move upside extension because we're in uncharted waters here technically. And so what we look at is measured move upside extensions that would be 355 points higher above that April high, which would take us to a measured move upside extension of 5640. So a little bit short of that objective that you had mentioned, but we still see a little bit more room for upside before we see some form of a correction.
Sure. And do you see any more volatility than what we've been seeing recently?
No, I think that volatility has been kind of consistent. We don't see any reason for any kind of changes in volatility. I anticipate that we will start to see volatility perhaps tick up once we get to that point where we arrive at an inflection point that sort of triggers this anticipated correction. So we'll get a little bit of, crazy trading around that, which I anticipate as the market changes direction will have an impact on volatility. But until then, I don't anticipate any significant shift in volatility.
And then for the rest of this week, I've got a list of events that I see affecting markets generally, including potentially Biden stepping down, bank earnings, Powell's testimony in the Senate, and US inflation, CPI and PPI. What events do you see affecting stocks the most?
Yeah, of those, I would tend to focus mostly on the data out in the latter portion of the week. The inflation data. I think inflation is kind of front and center as far as an indicator right now, along with broad kind of US economic data. We've seen recently kind of a story where economic data out of the US has been consistently softer of late, which has kind of pushed the narrative of rates kind of staying lower for longer. If the inflation data comes out later in the week and is a little sticky, a little bit above forecast, that could really change the narrative and put pressure back on the Fed to need to be thinking about, less rate cuts than more rate cuts in 2024, and that would probably disrupt the market. So I think that CPI on Thursday is going to be the big one, but with inflation now kind of in focus, producer prices also become important, and so I look at those two as the key pieces of data to watch this week.
Import the Black Bull Markets calendar to your email to receive alerts about upcoming economic events in your inbox, enabling you to plan your positions in advance and seize trading opportunities. Follow the link in the description to get started.